मनस संचररे मानस संचररे ब्रह्मणि 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 मानस संचररे ब्रह्मणि
So, taking you back to your roots, you learned from Vidwan Sri Semmangudi Iyer. Can you share an interesting incident or two about your learning experience with him?
Yeah, I joined him in 1996, Vijayadashmi, if my memory is right. I was learning from Sri B.C. Parampara, who has been my guru from scratch. And in 1996, Vijayadashmi, I went to him because he had come to some concert of mine and said, "Oh, my dad, bring him home." And I went and joined him. And we had the most wonderful relationship. He was like a friend. I guess I caught him at the end of his life, and we were wonderful. It was incredible. He was probably the sharpest, the wittiest, most sassiest human being I've met at the age of 90. I really hope I have all those qualities when I am 90, if I do live so long, first of all. Because he was an incredible guy. I mean, he was tough. He was extremely opinionated. He was loving. He was ready for a challenge. He was ready for a discussion. And he was intellectually so fresh. And that's such a beautiful thing. And there are many instances that I remember. The jokes that he would crack. There are jokes that he cracked that I can't even share with anybody. I mean, they're unbelievable. You would expect 20-year-olds to 25-year-olds to crack these jokes. And he would be embarrassing me with jokes that were full of innuendo at 1991. So I mean, he was an amazing man. And the classes were incredible. He'll be sitting in that easy chair, everybody knows this, with his leg up, and he'll be humming. And I used to always go, before I entered his room, to the window behind that and stand there and listen to him for about 15-20 minutes, and then enter. He would just be lying down like this and he'd start singing. There's so many instances, there's so many compositions. I still remember when he started teaching me Sri Ramon Magsaysay in Narayana Gowda. And he taught me the Pallavi. And then I think I was traveling for a lot of concerts. And for about 3 or 4 weeks, it just stayed there. And he used to call me PM Krishnamacharya. Because I named Krishna, I was named Krishna based on my grandmother's brother, who was Krishnamacharya. And he was the only man in the world who called me PM Krishnamacharya. And he called me, I remember, and he said, I picked the phone, he said, "Semmangudi, Kerala pesren, and So I said, "You mama solunga," and he said, "The Narayana Gola Kirtana Venuma, Vatama, the Palli Hoto Forma." I remember running to his home within the next 20 minutes. I was just petrified. So there are many things like this, or him listening to Bhairavi when I sang in the radio, and morning 8:30, 9:30 radio broadcast, and he called me at 9:32, and all he asked me was one thing. He said, "Radio kete, konju Bhairavi kurve nade theriyada." I said, "Theriyada." What he basically said is my Bhairavi was awful. That's what he was telling me. That what Bhairavi is saying in the radio was really bad. But he never said that to me. He just asked me, "Kullu imnade theriyada." So I said, "Theriyada." And I went home next 15 minutes. So, I mean, there are many instances, many sharings. You're a wonderful man.
How beautiful just even listening to these stories. It seems to be from a different era. Compared to that time and that era of Guru Sishya Parampara, how do you think it has changed since then?
Well, that completely depends on the Guru and the Shishyas. So I'm not sure we can make generalizations. And I don't think we should reduce this conversation to a technology conversation. That's what usually happens. This somehow boils down to Skype business. I'm not going to. I'm not going to simplify it to that. Let's say. I mean, my relationship with my students are as complex as a relationship that you have with your family or your children. My students have pretty much grown up at our home. I've seen most of them from their pre-teens to their post-teens, and now they are married. So it is a very intimate relationship. It is in that sense a Guru-Shishya relationship of those days. They come and spend hours in my house, literally hours in my house. I know every nuance of their life. I know everything that has happened in their life, and so it is a Guru-Shishya in that sense. And sometimes I'll say it is probably even more Guru-Shishya than it was those days, because there are instances of those days Guru-Shishya where there has been actually abuse of the Shishya. So let us also not romanticize this Guru-Shishya of the older bit too much. I feel that we have to be a little more circumspect about both. I think there are some great things about the old Guru-Shishya, but there are also some very horrible things about it. There have been many students who have been asked to just wash clothes and hardly learned anything from their guru. At the same time, there have been many gurus who shared with such abundance and such love. So it completely depends on both situations, on the guru and on the shishya and the environment that they create. Now, what we have today, I don't teach on the Skype. I don't teach on Skype. I don't teach online. I'm completely uncomfortable. That's my personal choice. I can't do it. For me, teaching is a very personal thing. It's a very personal relationship. In fact, it's not got to do with music. It's got to do with two people. And I believe that it's more about the person who's singing rather than the music. If I can work with the person, the music will happen. And I'm sure if I work with the person, the music will happen, the openings will happen, the triggers will be clicked, and then they can fly, literally fly. So I don't think, but I won't say anything about people who teach on Skype. I don't think it's wrong or right. But I do have a problem with the fact that if we reduce learning to a delivery mechanism, I think there are cases where we have made that into a delivery mechanism. There I am very uncomfortable. It becomes like some kind of a contractual agreement between the student and the teacher, where 1 hour you play X amount and you give me this, or you provide me so many stage engagements, or so many group concerts with 15 or 20 other people. And that to me, to put it very bluntly, is quite gross. And it undermines the spirit of art. You can argue it the other way and say, no, but these are opportunities, these are chances. I think there are more beautiful ways you can create these environments. So I am uncomfortable with that. And I have no qualms in saying it bluntly. I'm extremely uncomfortable with that. And I believe that too is happening in today's world. And we need to think about it. We need to seriously think about it. It's not about singing just one Kamboji Kirtanam well. If art was just about that, it's a waste of your time and my time. Art is about something else. It's about something else. It's about what happens between the Kamboji Kirtanam, what happens between so many things that you and I need not notice, but we feel. And I think somewhere we are reducing it to these arrangements that benefit people's careers, benefits the tutor's own well-being, and there is something very self-serving on both sides, the side of the student and the side of the teacher, that we need to introspect about. We need to rethink about. I think we need to rethink about it for ourselves and for the art. And I don't need to point fingers on people, but I sincerely feel this needs thought. And right now we are just going with the market flow. And I have a serious problem with that.
मनस संचररे मानस संचररे ब्रह्मणि 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 मानस संचररे